The Curse of Strahd. Chapter 1. Request of Aide. The party began its journey in celebration, having been newly initiated members of the increasingly famous Skep. We started with Broshi and Ethel, stuffing our young heroes and welcoming them to the Gold. Our initiates consist of the Incognita, the young lad and rogue, with a seemingly inquisitive mind and sharp eye for details. Melis, a trained wizard, the elf seems to possess a wealth of knowledge and arcane command. Pazuzu, great and powerful, if his own titles are to be believed, a bard whose interests doesn't seem to wholly align with the guild. Nevertheless, has proven a valiant negotiator when it comes to coin. Sarko, most visually distinct of the intrepid band, a crystal dragonborn. This cleric is quick to take responsibility for the party, and a frightening strong member to boot. Celine, quiet and reserved, often seen twiddling her necklace. This young elf came to Skeg after being flunked from her academy for not displaying side potential. She possesses a strong desire to help those too weak to help themselves. During their reverie, which was quite small, as it seems most members were out on other expeditions, a guest came rushing into the hall. The man bearing the appearance of a gypsy requested the aid of the guild. The man, stammering all the while, turned over a parchment containing a request of aid. The burgomaster of a town called Barovia, in the kingdom of Barovia, needed help for young Elena Kolinovich, his daughter. She was being pursued by some great manner of evil, and the Haven has promised all his riches to see her delivered from this darkness. After availing himself of the provisions, the man fled out into the night, and won his son's home. After Zarka delivered the note to Joras and his officers, he seemed off, but while requests such as these were not new, this one was quite distressing. Joras explained this was the second such request with a nearly identical script. Skeg, he explained, has already sent one party of 5 adventurers to this Barovia to assist the burgomaster. That was 2 moons ago, and they have not been seen or heard from since. They were given funds and sent to the docks with young Timmy, who begged them not to tip him, as he usual. At the docks, the band took up travel aboard Captain Flamone's ship and sailed to the south to Daggerford. Once in town, they found the inn they were instructed, which rented carriages out to travellers. Oswald, the cantankerous old proprietor, informed them that they would be taken to the edge of the Svalek woods, but no further, and would need to walk a few more hours west into Barovia town proper. After a bit of death-haggling, the group made their way westward. The 2-day trip was peaceful and uneventful. Once reaching the edge of the wood, the carriage driver informed them that following the road onward, through the dense forest ahead, would lead them to Barovia. It being just afternoon that day, the carriage driver reminded them, "Don't travel through Svalek woods at night, ever." A sentiment parroted by both the gypsy and the inn owner as well. Once in the woods, after half an hour or so, a dense fog could be seen gathering ahead. The farther they went, the thicker the obfuscating miasma became. Faces and figures seemingly danced in the fog. At least that was how Celine saw it. Visibility having dropped to a mere 20 feet in front of them, a scream broke the tension. The savage cry issued forth from the mist, clearly male in origin. The band spared no time, all maintaining hold to their guide rope, lit with a cantrip of light by Melis. They dashed toward the source. Dr. Edgarville, a man who seems to have forgotten much, but is quickly recalling details about himself. He is simple and logical, but he has a more savage side once violence is brought on. Edgar walked screaming in the mist in their camp, or his camp, perhaps someone else's. He was unsure how he got here, and frankly where here was. The dream dances from memory, leaving a lingering sense that something awful had happened, as most nightmares seem to leave once awake. Spotting the other 4 laying in slumber around the extinguished fire, he attempted to wake them up. Discovering all save him seemed to have met agreement, Two seemed to have been savagely clawed to ribbons as if by rabid beasts. One seemed like a desiccated husk, and bone dry to the touch. Despite the dew, the last stalk of long-haired male was simply dead. No marks or signs seemed to indicate what had happened. He simply stopped breathing. Investigating them, he found each in possession of a badge, scathed. Checking his own garments, he found a matching badge with his name. Shouting hello into the fog, Aide was shortly met by the members of Scape. After inquiring as to the nature of the scream and seeing the bodies, the party was quick to assume the dapperly dressed man had something to do with the deaths. Explaining that he doesn't believe he did and that he simply woke up here, he spots their badges and points to his own. Unable to answer questions about the gold or the fates of those around the camp, the group investigates further, noting a few key things from around the camp. Ian took note of there not seeming to be any tracks into the camp itself, despite the fog and dewy grasses and soft earth underfoot. There seemed to be no trace of tracks from the people in the camp actually walking into the camp area itself. Sarko, opting to inspect the dapper man sporting the Scape badge, noticed a symbol, rune, sigil, brand, on the back of the neck of the gentleman, but beyond that, was seemingly unscathed. Celine, wandering further outside the camp, seeming to not fear the mists, discovered wagon or cart tracks in the soft soil. No tracks seemed to lead from the end of the cart trail to the camp itself. Deciding that there was nothing to be gained from sitting in the camp itself, they opted to follow the trail discovered by Celine. Shortly into their trek, however, they were shocked by the howl of wolves, back in the direction of the camp. The group pressed on at speed, hoping to keep ahead of the sound which kept pace with their rear. Several minutes into their flight, the howls now came from in front of them. 6 wolves emerged from the mist in front of the party. A stunningly brutal battle ensues. Mellors displayed his defensive repertoire, Celine relying on her great sword. Ian taking advantage of distracted opponents, Pazuzu's drums driving the tempo, Sarko giving a radiant display of his crystalline heritage. And their newest compatriot, Aide, displaying a savagery not expected. After dispatching the pack of wolves and following the tracks, they slowly faded into a gravel road, and they realized they had entered a town. Busted down and broken, but a town all the same. Most of the buildings were abandoned and boarded up, but ahead through the lifting mist the group spotted a pair of small children, begging for help. The older of the two, a young girl named Rose, begged the party to help her and her brother Thorn by getting rid of the monster in the basement. Unable to answer Ian's query as to the location of their parents, the party decided to help. Celine offered her necklace to the young girl and promised they would rid them of the monster. Asking the children to lead the way to the basement, the children refused, young Thorn sobbing at the suggestion. Rose explained she wasn't going, and Thorn is terrified. She opened the gate of the portico for the party. While walking through the gate, the group hears the sound of something falling to the gravel streets. The necklace Celine had given the children for safekeeping sat there, the children gone. Recovering her property, the party opening the creaking greatwood door and entered the hall of the home.